Hi, St. John's. When I was in Nazareth about a month ago with our pilgrimage group, I broke away from the group at one point to go and visit my aunt who is ill and who is in the hospital. So I walk into this hospital and I go to the front desk and I ask for her name, and they say, well, she's in such and such room. So I said, well, I don't know the hospital very well. Can you tell me how to get there? And there was this other guy sitting at the front desk, and he says, well, I'll walk you there. And as we started walking, and I was dressed in plain clothes, so I was just a t-shirt and jeans. As we were walking, he looked at me, he says, you look like a priest. And I was like, that's so funny that you would say that. Is it that obvious? Like, I am a priest, but there's nothing about me that, it screams this is a priest. Incidentally, he asked me what my name was, and I was like, Sari Atik, and he goes, I'm your cousin, and his name was David Atik. That's another story for another time. Never met this guy before. But anyway, so I was standing there kind of thinking about this, like what a weird thing to just look at someone and say, you look like a priest. I don't know what it was that gave it away. But it wasn't until this past weekend, a month later, that we were at the vestry retreat and Sarah read something. She read a series of quotes from this book. The book's title is Living on the Border of the Holy. It's by William Countryman. And the subtitle is Renewing the Priesthood of All. I actually have just ordered the book and I'm really excited to start reading it. But there's this one section in the book that Sarah read that kind of connected the dots for me. So this is what Countryman says. And again, so grateful for Sarah for introducing me to this. But Countryman says that all human beings, knowingly or not, minister as priests to one another. All of us, knowingly or not, receive priestly ministrations from one another. And then he goes on to say that priesthood is a pattern of human life acted out daily in the most ordinary ways. Parenting, for example, is a priesthood in which the parent reveals to the child the hopes and values that shape an inner center to our seemingly miscellaneous experience. Childhood, too, is a priesthood, for the child still sees things that adults have learned not to see, and the child will often show the parent a thing or two that the parent had long forgotten. He goes on to say that mentors are also priests, teachers and learners are priests, each in a unique way, and then goes on to say that friendship is a priesthood, and on and on. And the idea that Countryman is talking about is that there is something when we allow ourselves to be in community with others, that it's inevitable that sacredness is going to come through in some way, even in the most mundane ways. And I really look forward to the ways in which we're going to learn more about this in two ways. First of all, this is a big part of Sarah's own theology, and I love what she brings to our community. And I want to invite you to also order this book and read it along with me for the first time. Again, it's called Living on the Border of the Holy. The subtitle is Renewing the Priesthood of All by William Countryman. But the reason this connected dots for me is that I realized kind of in some mysterious way in that moment, I don't think this guy, apparently my cousin, knew I was a priest. There was something about the act of going to visit someone in the hospital that felt priestly. And in that moment, I think what he was asking when he said, you look like a priest, what he was saying is that it was a kind of a prophetic moment of recognizing the sacred act of one person visiting another person in the hospital. And people are doing this all the time. Family members, friends, church members checking in on other church members. All of this is all a part of the priesthood of all believers, the priesthood of humanity even. And so it just connected the dots for me. There was something in the spirit of what I was doing as a human being in that moment that felt priestly. So beautiful. And I invite you to think of the ways in which you've experienced the priesthood of others in your life and especially to focus and observe the ways in which your everyday activities that feel connective and feel like they touch on something holy, how that is ways in which you are also being a priest. God bless St. John's. We'll see you on Sunday.